Boom! Guys, jump on real quick. See if we can get the show on the road. It's a beautiful, is it Monday? It's amazing to me how quickly and how swiftly the days go by. You know, when you get to my age, Monday to Friday is like a cough. Before you know it, boom, you're on Friday. When I was younger, when I was a teenager, it just seemed like it took forever to get from Monday to Friday. But things have changed. But Joseph Chishimba, welcome. Thank you for being with me. I'm not sure, you see the lapel mic? It's a bit heavy sometimes. Let me adjust it. There you go. Please tell me in the comments if this broadcast is clear. Watching from where? Wakesfield. Is that Wakesfield? I don't even know where Wakesfield is. I have no idea. I need to check my phone. Just give me a moment, guys. Just check my phone, my monitor. I use my phone here as my monitor so that I can see that we're on the same page. What I need to hear from you guys is for you to tell me that this broadcast is loud and clear. Watching from Reading, watching from the Netherlands. Hello, Ray Che, Chipata is in the house. I was just there. Yorkshire, in England. We love Yorkshire. Are you in Egypt? No, I'm not. I'm here in Zambia, in Lusaka, Zambia, mate. I'm not in Egypt. I think you're referring to the head of state. He's in Egypt. I'm not there. Let me just double check if this is what we want. Right. Watching from where? You're loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you so much. Watching from where? I can't see that. You know, I am, here we go. I'll get it right in a moment, guys. Just give me a second. I just need to suss this out so that I know that we're good. And it also helps when you tell me that we're loud and clear. Hey, Peter, thank you. Thank you so much. I think we're good. What do you think? I think we are. Let me just sound check. I can't see though. I am, here we go. Okay. I'll get it right in a moment, guys. I'm just perfect. Monze's watching. Loud and clear. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's talk about this. I know this is a topic that may seem mundane to some of you. Some of you may think this is insignificant. Some of you may think this is just, it's nothing to worry about. Well, what happens when you ignore cancer? It spreads. Because cancer is malignant. When you ignore it, it spreads. This talk, this warmongering talk, first originated from this false prophet in Nigeria that calls himself Seer something. I call him Seer nothing. This Andrew Ejimadu, this purveyor of chaos, this child molester, this liar, this vagabond, this despot, this product of a deranged mind. This talk of conflict, armed conflict, first came from him. He, not too long ago, went on his Facebook page and he started declaring that, oh, Zambia is in imminent danger. Zambia is in imminent danger. A war is looming. Total nonsense. Especially when you hear these words coming from the mouth of a so-called prophet. A prophet that we know is not only insidious, has an axe to grind with Zambia because he loves our country more than he loves Nigeria. He wants to be in Zambia because he knows that Zambians are so dwanzy, they lap up everything that he says. He wants to come back here, but the authorities will not allow him to come here because we know the insidious nature of Andrew Ejimadu, a purveyor of chaos. That man should never be allowed to step. Too many children were molested while he was here. Too many families went through heartache while he was here. Too many families were destroyed while this Andrew Ejimadu Seer nothing was here. So he was the very first one that came up and said, you know, Zambia is in imminent danger, that there's a war. Guys, understand this. We have a government in place that deals with that sort of thing. If indeed there is a problem, the president has a group of men within the armed forces that advise him accordingly. It's that simple. You know, now there's this false accusation that no, Congo has issued a warning against Zambia. Lies. That's not true. Don't listen to these false prophets. I know some of you don't trust the government, whichever government it is. But it's sad when you can listen to a false prophet and accept their utterances as truth and not listen to your own government. That's disturbing. Let me say that again. Some of you would rather sit in your homes in front of your camera and watch a false prophet declare doom and gloom over this nation. Some of you would rather listen to that nonsense, to that hogwash, than to actually listen to what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is saying. And that is indicative of brainwashed individuals that fall and eat at the feet of these false prophets. Understand this. The border closing between, parts of the border closing between Zambia and Congo, that's a trade issue. That's simply a trade issue. Trade issues don't result in armed conflict. That's economics. It's not armed conflict. Guys, you must understand that. My goodness. Just because there's a dispute concerning trade between two countries, it doesn't mean that that dispute will lead to armed conflict. How? Come on, guys. Come on. This talk amongst you, these guys that come on social media, these guys that turn on their Facebook pages, they don't even have churches, most of them. I was watching a young girl not too long ago, and I tell you, it just broke my heart, because this young girl, I knew her as an author. She wrote books. Now she's turned into some prophetess, self-proclaimed prophetess, and she's declaring doom and gloom over her own nation. And when I brought this to her attention, when I said to her, I'm so sad to see that you've changed, you've turned from a well-balanced, intelligent, bright author, and you've turned into this self-proclaimed prophetess. And they all have the same answer. These people that call themselves prophets, they say, no, I only declare what God says to me. That Messiah complex is common amongst prophets. Well, is common amongst false prophets. Have you ever heard this? The Messiah complex? The Messiah complex is these guys who think that, they hear from God. They answer to no one but God. They hear directly from him, when we know that that's not true. God doesn't talk to them. Those are just, it's a figment of their own imagination when they wake up in the morning and say, I see doom and gloom over Zambia. Well, why don't you see prosperity? Why don't you see brotherliness? Why don't you see love amongst the people of God? Why don't you see cohesiveness? Why don't you see prosperity? Why don't you see that? All they ever talk about is doom. They tap into your fear. The number one weapon that these false prophets use to hoodwink you, to coerce you, is they use fear to captivate you and to incapacitate you. They use fear. The Word of God says He hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but He's given us the spirit of a sound mind. Endure sound doctrine. But if you're running around listening to these Facebook false prophets, and you are quick and you are swift to listen to what they're saying and not pay attention to what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is saying, not pay attention to the diplomatic channels that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is talking about, if you're not listening to your own government wing that deals with issues concerning foreign affairs, but you are prone to listen to these fake, insidious, pseudo false prophets on Facebook, something's wrong. Something is wrong. Don't listen to these people. And my word of caution to you guys, listen to me carefully. You that call yourselves, all of you you're fake prophets. You're just all. Anytime you see a young girl, a young man comes on Facebook, they've received no training. They've never served under any church. They just wake up 20, 19, 18 years old and, oh, I'm a prophet. I'm an apostle. I'm a bishop. I'm this, that, and the other. No training, no serving under the feet of someone that has gone before them. Nothing like they just wake up. When you watch these kids that come on Facebook, run from them like you would run from a boa constrictor. Run from them like you would run from a gaboon viper. They are insidious and they are up to no good. They are the dividers and purveyors of chaos. And I have a word of caution to you. When you're talking about matters concerning national security, you can cloak it and say, oh no, I hear from God. It's all fun and games until the national security wing comes to you and they say, you're alarming the nation. What are you basing this on? Why would you alarm the country and say we are standing on the precipice of war? Why would you alarm the nation and say we're standing on the precipice of a disaster? Oh no, I heard from God. You think the authorities are going to hear that? You will be arrested and you will be thrown under the jail. Hear me when I tell you this. Don't play around with national security matters. Don't take it upon yourself. Guys, listen, the difference between Seer Zero and the Zambian who says that. Seer Zero is not here in Zambia. He can say what he wants. Nobody will arrest him. Now you false prophets, you false Zambian prophets, when you are standing on the precipice of alarming the nation, security is going to come knocking at your door. Andrew's not going to be there to help you. Seer Zero's not going to be there to help you. Nobody is going to be there to hold your hand. They're going to sit you down in a room, place a flashlight in front of your eyes, and they're going to ask you, on what basis are you saying this nation is on the verge of war? What are you going to say? God told me? God told you? God doesn't talk to you. He doesn't speak to you. So how are you going to say, God told me? Don't be misled. Don't be deceived. These people that call themselves false prophets are the most self-absorbed, self-righteous misfits that you have ever met. They have no interpersonal relationship skills. They are poor when it comes to managing their own personal lives. They have no ability whatsoever to carry out a proper, full conversation. Everything to them is doom and gloom. And once you operate within that space, especially when you're young, you know, these young kids, oh, it breaks my heart to see these young kids that call themselves apostles. An apostle? They call themselves bishop. Do you know what a bishop is? A bishop is one that presides over different churches, multiple churches. But then you got these kids, I'm a bishop. What church do you preside over? Facebook? Oh, I'm an apostle. Apostle? On Facebook? Oh, I'm a prophet. I'm a prophetess. Hogwash. Bull roar. Nonsense. You are a figment of your own imagination. You are a product of a deranged mind. And when you start talking about national security issues, when you start talking about things that border on the peace and the sanctity and tranquility of our nation, and the authorities come knocking at your door, and you say to them, God told me, you'll have a rude awakening. They'll throw you away, and you will be a rumor. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. You've heard